What's up guys, Riley Hook here, coming at you with my first Minecraft video. Of course by Minecraft video I mean scary stories. I write, edit, and perform all my stories by myself, absolutely no AI. This story is called The Weewee Man. I originally wrote it as some kind of parody for Jeff the Killer, based off the Creepcast reading of Jeff the Killer, because I thought it was really funny. And I really enjoy Creepcast. So if you like this video, I doubt you're gonna watch it without having known of them first. But if for whatever reason you do, go watch Creepcast. I'll put a link in the description to their channel. They're really good. Isaiah and Hunter inspired me to make this channel, and so I hope they also take a look at this someday. That's the intro. I hope you like it. Let's get into it. The year is 1994, and a storm crashes outside, ringing the wind chimes outside the house of Camry and her mother. A foul odor hangs in the air, smelling faintly of ammonia. The wind seeming to stream through the windows with a light psss. The thunder shakes the walls of their house, keeping Camry awake with her gymnastics trophies rattling on her shelves. Lying there in her bed with her eyes closed, trying desperately to go to sleep, she hears her mother yelling at someone from down the hall. Believing them to be alone in the house, Camry wondered who her mother could be talking to. She crept out of her room into the hallway and towards her mother's room to listen outside the door. "No! You can't come back now. You left the second I gave birth. There's nothing here for you." A nasally, grating voice responds. "Wherever the waste flows, I flow too." Her mother screams and Camry panics and swings the door open. The sight unveiled before her now is her mother, pinned against a wall by a tall, skinny man in a dark suit and fedora. The man's movements are quick and fluid as he turns his head to look at Camry. In the moonlight, she notices his skin is very pale, his eyes shallow, bulging, and veiny. He looks like his body is completely devoid of all bodily fluids, his lips dry and cracked. Glancing down at his dehydrated, veiny right hand, Camry could see it folded over her mother's stomach. The man slowly slips his hand back as Camry notices the fingers were coming out of her mother, covered in dripping, watery blood. Camry's mother sinks to the floor, beginning to form a large puddle of the substance under her. The overwhelming smell of urine was strong, stronger than Camry had ever experienced before. The man must have stabbed her in the bladder. Camry rushes to her mother's side and holds her hand as she fades from consciousness. The tall man slinks back to the shadows of the hallway, bowing to Camry like a performer at the end of a play, and telling her, "You're my number one." In the present day, Camry and her boyfriend Eli live together in another city. Camry is 9 months pregnant and due to give birth any day now. Unfortunately, she has to pee frequently, several times a day, a common occurrence in late-stage pregnancy due to the baby resting on top of the bladder, kicking it occasionally. However, the past few weeks, whenever Camry has needed to use the bathroom, she gets an odd feeling of being watched. Dark, slender shadows zip past in the corner of her eyes every time she pees. She chalks it up to motherly instinct to look out for dangers when she's in a vulnerable state, but something still feels off. One day, Camry brings it up to her boyfriend, who tells her, "You just need to relax until our baby comes. Don't think about creepy watchers and shadow people. That's my job. Let me worry about them." He kisses her forehead to help her feel at ease. It works, until the next day when she's using the bathroom and someone starts banging on the door. Loud thumping shakes the entire frame. Camry jumps up from the toilet, terrified, as Eli yells from the other side, "Hurry, I can't hold it much longer. I'm gonna piss my pants." With a sigh of relief, Camry finishes and ushers in Eli, understanding of his plight. After he's done, though, he walks out, and Camry can see a dark shadow has fallen over his face. What? What happened? Did you piss yourself? She asks sympathetically. Noticing his pants are dry, she knows that's not the case. No, he replies. Well, I think I know what you mean when you say you felt someone watching you pee. There's a grave look in his eyes as Camry asks, What happened? Did you see someone? No. Or yes? I don't think so. Maybe? I don't know. There was just this weird shadow thing, and he trails off. I'd rather not talk about it right now. I'm sure it's nothing. Camry gives a side smile and nods, a pang of anxiety forming in her stomach once again. She rotates around Eli's axis and starts to head back into the bathroom before she stops in her tracks and gasps. Eli still has a grave look on his face as he looks up at her and says, It's right behind you, isn't it? A tall, dark shadow flows out of the bathroom through the window as if it were never there. Tears form in her eyes as Camry and Eli fall to their knees and weep while holding each other. Somehow, she knew that shadow was the same creature from all those years ago, the one that disembladdered her mom. The next few nights were filled with nightmares and bedwetting. A seemingly unending torrent of shadow people and urine invaded their dreams, and in turn, their real lives. Every time they went to pee at this time, they could see the tall suit and fedora-clad man peeking at them around corners and windows. Their minds began to slip as their wallets were drained, buying box after box of diapers from the nearby local price chopper. None of the diapers were for their baby. The baby was on its way very soon, but the real labor was still to come. After yet another day of unending turnstile between Camry and Eli, in and out of the bathroom, their senses of dread had grown to take over every waking thought, every sleeping one too. This was different, though. Camry was resting on the couch, unwinding before bed, when she heard Eli from the bathroom. Camry? You're gonna want to come see this. She waddled over, pregnantly, to see what Eli was talking about. Walking up beside Eli, she found the being that's been tormenting them for days, standing completely still in the middle of their bathroom. There was no more doubt in Camry's mind. This was the man who killed her mom. A bolt of fear shot down her spine and urine shot down her leg. Eli stepped in front, shielding her with his arm, and yelled, Who the hell are you? Why are you doing this? The tall, pale, dehydrated man just looked at Camry, took a performative bow, and slinked backwards out the window in one long step. Eli ran forward to look for him, but the man was gone. Camry, still in shock at what she'd just seen, clenched her fists and walked to their room, silently. Eli's endless tirade of questions just sounded like vague ringing in Camry's ears, and she turned to him, with tears in her eyes and a look that screamed, Please stop. A few more days passed without incident. Camry and Eli go to their last doctor's appointment to check on the condition of their baby. All the fear they held about how the recent events might have affected their child were washed away as the doctor assured them everything was fine. Your baby is perfectly healthy. It's resting on your bladder like a little pillow. Yeah, said Eli. We've been peeing like crazy. But both of you? Replied the doctor. Well, we better get going, said Camry, and they left. When they got home that night, their front door was laying on the floor inside their house, a dent from some extreme force in the middle of it, and a shoe print in the middle of that. Camry gasped as she walked into their home, and the entire place was trashed. Nothing appeared to be stolen, but nearly everything was dripping wet, and the dank smell of ammonia hung in the air. Eli plugged his nose and immediately began calling the police. Hello? We have a problem. Someone freaking broke into our house and pissed on everything. This is seriously not cool. 8 hours later, the police arrive. Walking up to the broken-in front door is a gruff-looking detective in a brown trench coat, white undershirt, black tie, and black pants. His shoes blinking with red and blue lights with each step. As he stepped inside, Camry told him, "Please take your shoes off inside. I don't want our carpet to get dirty." The detective obliged, unstrapping the Velcro on his Paw Patrol light-up Skechers. They were the police dog ones, so Camry knew he was the real deal. "Mr. and Mrs. Weeman, I'm Detective Mallory. I heard you had a break-in." "We're not married." "We're not married," blurted Camry. "Also, my last name's Manning, not related to the football player," added Eli. What the fuck did I have for the detective's voice? Hold on, I forgot the detective's voice. "Okay," replied Detective Mallory, stepping inside. The detective walks along, his white socks slowly seeping to a dark yellow and making a squishing sound with each step on the carpet. He sniffed the area, leaning down and wiping up the liquid with his fingers to taste it. As he did, he scowled and turned back to the couple. "Like you said, there seems to be pee on everything. I don't know who did this or why. Anytime I have to pee really bad, I make my pee-pee go hard style to keep it from coming out." "That's what's up," Eli said, dapping up the detective. "This is really gross. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do," replied the detective, looking at the scene around him. Detective Mallory retreated to the front door, knelt down to restrap his Skechers, and left, lighting a cigarette and kicking his heels to the ground as if to signal his job there was done. A blur of red and blue lights on his feet as their greatest hope left them behind in their piss-soaked home. "What are we gonna do now?" yelled Eli. "We're gonna set a trap. We're gonna catch that guy yellow-handed and turn him into the authorities," responded Camry. "Okay, I'm in." "You're in?" "You're in!" A deep voice bellows from the bathroom down the hall. The thin, pale man sprints out towards the couple. Camry screams and Eli steps out in front, shielding her with his body. The man jumps up and does a double front flip, dropping a kick right into Eli's bladder. Immediately, the front of Eli's pants begin to leak a watery red as he doubles over in pain. Camry, caught in a panic, backs up into the corner of the room crying. "What's wrong, sweet child?" the man egged her on. Do you not recognize your own father?" Camry gasped. You're lying. My father died when I was born." "Who told you that? Your mother?" She sat in silence, knowing he's right, but not willing to admit it. The man continued. "Who do you think gave you the talent for gymnastics so that you could train to become district champion? Do you think it was a coincidence that all your opponents in the national semifinals pissed themselves on their landing, giving you the gold?" He enunciated the word pissed so hard he practically screamed it at her. She sat in a stunned silence. "Your time is almost up, my dear, as is mine. I am simply here to welcome my new grandson into the world." "No!" Camry shouted in defiance. "The next time you see me, my grandson will be here, and your bladder will be nothing more than decoration." "So fucking weird," she said as her father slipped back to the bathroom and out of sight. Camry rushed over to her boyfriend. Eli was lying there unconscious in a pool of his own blood. She called John Hospital, the creator of the hospital, as she lay there by his side. 3 days later, Camry is leaving the price chopper with her new groceries when she feels something is off. She doesn't know what it is at first because it's never happened in public, but soon enough it dawns on her. She whips around to see the tall man standing there, staring down at her, malice and dehydration in his eyes. "Time's up, sweetie." As he starts to walk towards her, Camry does a standing triple backflip, switching momentum mid-air into a double front flip and landing a kick into her father's chest, so hard it sent him stumbling back into the wall of the store. A crack begins to form up the wall to the big block letters of the store sign and shakes them violently. Camry's father is turned to nothing more than a yellow mist as a giant pea lands on him. Finally, Camry coughs as she breathes in her father's remains. Suddenly, her water breaks, and at the same time, her bladder bursts like a water balloon. Camry sinks down to a puddle of her own fluids intermingling with her father's as onlookers call for an ambulance. Moments later, paramedics arrive on scene and quickly whisk her away towards the hospital. On the way, however, it becomes clear there's no time. This baby is coming now. A series of screams and searing pain sends Camry spiraling into the symphonic agony of labor. The paramedics do all they can to ease her pain, but the med's near-instant activation is somehow still too slow to reach her brain. Some unseen force seems to be pulling this child out of her, followed by a torrent of bodily fluids. The baby is out and in the medic's hands, but no sound can be heard from it. After several excruciatingly long moments of CPR, the baby bursts to life, crying and screaming as all babies do. "It's a boy!" yelled the medic, relief washing over Camry while blood drains from her body. "Let me see him," she pleads weakly. "Ma'am, you're in no shape to—" "Please." Understandingly, the medic walks the baby over and leans him towards her. "Congratulations. What do you want to call him?" "What's your name?" "Elliot." She responds even weaker, rasping out with her final breath. "Wayne, Eli, Elliot, Weeman." Camry dies in that ambulance and is announced so at the hospital. The doctors look down at the name tag in the nursery with the name W.E.E. Weeman and converse about what to do with the child. "What about the father?" "He died of a ruptured bladder in the ICU this morning." "Poor kid." 2 years later, Wayne is living with his foster parents. He's lived a happy life thus far, unaware of anything his parents went through. But right now, he's going through potty training. He stands in front of the little plastic fake toilet, peeing in front of his new mom who watches encouragingly. This is the first time he's peed on his own, and standing there, something awakens within him. As he finishes, all the color drains from his skin, his eyes widen and bulge with his veins, and Wayne falls backwards to the ground. His mom rushes to catch him, yelling for him. "Wayne! Wayne! Are you okay?" Wayne looks up and utters his first words. "I'm pissed." And that's it. That's Weewee Man. Or, no, that's the Weewee Man. It's not my best work, but this is a test video to see how I like the format. So I'm hoping anyone who watches this likes it. Any future stories that I do will be much longer. I'm aiming to have 40 minutes to an hour for each story. And this one will probably only be around 20 minutes depending on how I edit it. But yeah, I'll try to post every 2 weeks-ish. I don't know, I'm in the middle of trying to move right now. So I am currently like 2.5 months away from moving to Australia from the US. So I got a lot on my plate right now, but I wanted to start posting my stories here because it felt like it was time. So thank you to anyone watching. Thank you to Isaiah and Hunter from Creepcast for inspiring me to do this. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.